I'm Michael Patrick Cody, and this is my year in review for 2025. I wanted to wait until I got the physical copies in hand for all the books I published this year before I did this wrap up, and so that's why it's a little bit late. 2025 was a good year for me. It was a big step forward. I got 5 stories published over the course of the year. The first of these is The Sisters of Bloom and Stone. This is a self-published illustrated children's book that I self-published on Amazon. It taught me a lot about everything that goes into the putting one of these together and what it takes to publish something like this on Amazon. And it honestly gave me a lot of appreciation for what the small presses are able to do on tight timelines and small budgets. This story came out pretty good. I was happy with it. It's a story about 2 fairy sisters who have magical powers. And each on their own is able to accomplish quite a lot, but they learn over the course of the story that if they want to reach their ultimate goals, they have to work together. The next story I got published is called A Tidy Little Apocalypse, and it's a story I submitted for the Artifact Origins anthology published by Raconteur Press. And this was an open call for an anthology, the premise being all of the magical artifacts we find in stories, what were their origin stories? And my story is about a absent-minded wizard who automates his cleaning duties and it leads to catastrophe. And it's sort of whimsical and farcical and humorous, but with a lot of heart. And I thought it came out pretty well, and I was happy that it was picked up. This is the first time a third party has published one of my stories since way back in 2015. So I was really happy with that. The next story was another Raconteur Press anthology submission that got accepted. This was for the Planks and Plunder anthology. They were all pirate stories, and mine was called Dead Men Tell No Tales, but They File in Triplicate. And it's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy-esque type bureaucratic, farcical, humorous story about a mid-level bureaucrat who's trying to reel in these ghost pirate ships who are not behaving up to standard. And it was a pretty good time. I thought it was a lot of good tongue-in-cheek humor and puns throughout the story, and I thought it was well received. My next story was called What the Fire Keeps, and it was a submission for the White Witch's Hat anthology by Bindweed Press. This was a collection of Christmas slash Yuletide ghost stories. And my story was about a girl who has to take up the mantle of her family tradition of maintaining the Yule log fire over the holiday, and realizes that there's a reason for it and that she is keeping many spirits at bay with that flame. And it had a lot of heart and feeling, and there was loss and sense of coming of age, and I thought that story was pretty well received as well. The last story I got published was called The View from Erebus, which was published in Professor Feiff's Transdimensional Travelogue, which was an anthology published by Henge Publishing. And all of the stories here were supposed to be vacations or travel destinations that were somehow strange based on either magic or space-time weirdness or something to that effect. And my story is about a woman who's a saleswoman who's selling a corporate retreat um, through hell, right? And so the idea is this corporation has bought a slice of hell, right? Hell's like a big bowl. They have like a pie shaped slice of hell that they've run a train down through, so you can sort of tour hell. And they sell corporate retreats to to visit hell, and so there's a lot of not necessarily tongue in cheek, but a lot of irony in the ways that this is being sold, and there's some twists and turns. and I was really happy with the final result in this story. I haven't got as much feedback from this story yet because, well, this book just arrived, and it's the newest out. But I hope people like it. So that was it for 2025, and I'm hoping to have at least as much success in 2026. I'll have to say I'm off to a strong start. I've got several stories out for submission, which I'm hopeful will get picked up. And also, I have a story which was actually accepted in 2025 for Bullet Points, which is a periodical that publishes military sci-fi. I have a flash story, about 1,000 word story that is been accepted for that and should be out in April. If you go to michaelpatrickcody.com, you can see my full bibliography with links to where you can get all these stories. Plus, you can sign up for the dispatch where I'll make announcements when I publish new stories. Also, there's usually some freebies that I release here and there. So you can check that out. Thanks for watching.